I had finally arrived. The bottom of the world. Antarctica. Our first point of contact was a place called Cape Adare, a tiny slice of land filled with penguins, ice, and history. All the basic ingredients of the Antarctic cocktail were there in one place. However, as I was about to discover, there is so much more to this place. This relatively uninhabited, frozen wasteland is actually a living space of superlatives, teeming with life, with towering cathedrals of ice and bizarre alien environments. A world maybe only Dr. Seuss can imagine. We eventually moved on from Cape Adare, around the Antarctic corner to a place called Cape Hallett, by way of the Possession Islands. By this time, we had spent a good 8 or 9 days aboard our ship, the Ortelius. We were familiar with it. It was home now. The cabins were cozy, with enough room for me to deal with the onslaught of footage I was collecting. Making your way around the ship was easy enough, even in turbulent seas. Ortelius is comfortable with the polar life, and so there are dozens of excellent photographs and good information decorating the halls and the dining area and elsewhere. The bar was the main social gathering space on the ship, and many passengers could be found there at the end of the day. It was also the space where you could get coffee at any hour, and maybe even a little tech support. The bridge, the nerve center of the ship, was an excellent place to get a bird's-eye view of the surrounding area. It was also a good place to see the crew in action, and to look at some sea charts, which can be works of art as well as a map. But if you wanted to get into the thick of it without leaving the ship, then I suggest this space. Many times while moving through this area or another, passengers and crew would gather here in order to get the best look at what's ahead, to take pictures, or in my case and several others, to get footage of this Antarctic dreamland. And so we reached nearby Cape Hallett, a unique area with a little bit of human history. Turns out the United States and New Zealand made a joint effort at keeping a station here in the 1950s and 60s. Portions of Cape Hallett qualify as an Antarctic oasis because certain areas remain snow and ice-free year-round. This place is also an ASPA, or an Antarctic Specially Protected Area. There is a colony of Adelie penguins here, nests of Antarctic skuas, and dozens of species of lichen, believe it or not, and even a couple of species of insect, namely mites and springtails. That something like a bug can live way down here in this part of the world is nothing short of astonishing. Cape Hallett was overcast and still on the day we visited. With such heavy cloud cover, blues and silvers ended up being the dominant colors of the landscape. There was a sense that we were inside some great space, like a vast hall or a gigantic cave. We ventured out in the zodiacs to get a better view of the area. That's when we came across our first emperor penguin. Now, an emperor penguin is a special creature. It is the largest of all penguin species, standing up to about 1.2 meters tall and weighing between 50 and 100 pounds. They live exclusively in Antarctica, and indeed only in specific regions of the continent. We had hoped to see one on our journey. Turns out this individual emperor was to be the first of many that we'd see, and he completely stole the show. A fact not lost on this jealous little Adelie penguin. That was Cape Hallett. It was the closest we got to the shores of Antarctica so far. It was incredible to be so close, but I longed, as many passengers did, to walk around on solid land. We last did this way back on Campbell Island, what felt like an eternity ago. Actually, stepping foot on the continent happened in the area of our next destination, further south in Terra Nova Bay. Discovered and named by British explorer Robert Falcon Scott, Terra Nova Bay, like Cape Hallett, is also an ASPA. An Italian research station, a German station, and a South Korean station are nearby, as is the Dragowski Ice Tongue. Yeah, Ice Tongue, a glacier sticking out into the bay about 43 miles, or 70 kilometers. It is thought to be about 4,000 years old. We visited the Italian station on the mainland called Zucchelli, which was closed for the season. Finally, we got the chance to stand on Antarctica itself. By stepping foot on the physical entity of the continent, I may have earned the appellation Antarctican. Yeah, has a nice ring to it, doesn't it? Being able to walk around freely down at the bottom of the world, that was worth every minute of the voyage so far. Zucchelli Station was a very interesting place. Just look at some of the things we saw. Stunning vistas of beautiful stone and ice. The peculiar station itself, it might as well have been a research base on Mars. And birds called skuas, which are formidable hunters and scavengers. And this lone Adelie penguin. She seems a bit lost, doesn't she? I must have watched this bird wander around a maze of rocks for at least 20 minutes. I wonder how she's doing these days. After a short period of time at the Italian station, we moved along to the German station just across the bay, Gondwana. It was here that we got a proper introduction to the seals of Antarctica. They really are giant mammalian slugs, these seals, but they're kind of cute, aren't they? They don't fear much on land. Their predators are only a threat in the water, so they kind of chill out on shore. Take a breather. Relax. While all this was incredible, Cape Hallett, Terra Nova Bay, the Zucchelli and Gondwana stations, that poor lost penguin, the best was yet to come. Our next stop was Franklin Island, a 13-mile-long island west of Terra Nova Bay. Discovered in 1841 by James Clark Ross, Franklin Island is home to an Adelie penguin rookery, as well as representatives of a number of other Antarctic species. There was even another couple of these guys, emperor penguins. Away from the modest human infrastructure of the research stations, we found Franklin Island to be our first real slice of wilderness. It was here that Antarctica became a personal milestone for me and not just another exciting travel destination. Wandering around in an actual penguin rookery, the presence of Adelie penguins and emperors, and Weddell and crab-eater seals, and other creatures in their natural habitat really drove home what a unique place Antarctica is. It was as if I was dreaming about being inside some National Geographic special. None of these creatures were really afraid of people. Why would they be? Humans don't come down here all that often. Seeing so many incredible places and getting so close with wildlife, Franklin Island, more than any destination so far, made the strongest impression on me and on many of the other passengers. However, it was far from our best stop. In many ways, we were only just getting started. There was so much more for us to see, like the insane McMurdo Dry valleys and the huts of early explorers, still standing since their initial construction a century ago. Keep an eye on this space and I will tell you about those valleys and huts and more of what it was like to be down at the bottom of the world. Huge thank you to St. Vincent's Orthopedics of Birmingham, Alabama, who provided support for this undertaking. The physicians and staff of St. Vincent's Orthopedics are committed to excellence by providing the highest quality of orthopedic care possible. With their help, we managed to capture some truly amazing footage of the wildlife and landscapes of Antarctica. Thank you for watching. If you like this, then show this channel some love over on Patreon. And check out these other videos too.